Hey there everyone, this is Fish, and welcome to episode 39 of our playthrough of Factorio, where we are building a Megabase Basecamp, and indeed our base has gotten quite a bit larger. Last episode you may recall that we figured out how to put a corner on our walls right here with these guys here. And I have spent a fair amount of time adding walls all around the perimeter here. Some of them pretty short, some of them longer. We had some rails that were going out this way towards this iron patch. I actually picked those up and pulled them back. So anyway, at this point, what we have found is that it is much nicer now to not have to face the constant dealings with biters. So we were able to push things out far enough that we could get some nice bottlenecks set up. So the question is, what do we have left to do in terms of building our Megabase? So I guess I should update a couple of other things that I did here. One was I ended up taking some things like, for example, substations or flamethrower turrets or some of these things. I ended up taking them, duplicating them into the sort of logistics built side of things. Again, so that because it was really starving a bunch of the resources out here, and so we're in the process of getting ourselves down the road to spidertrons. The other thing that's worth thinking about is we did actually manage to research artillery, which if we look at what's remaining, we got spidertrons, the atomic bomb, which I generally don't use. We'll research it for completeness, and then after that we're into infinite tech. So there's not too much research that we need to do tech-wise here, but this is now what the attacks look like. They are dead before we can even get there, so good stuff. But I think there are a couple of things that would be worth doing here. And so one of them is I do want to play around with artillery a little bit. I think that will be important. But the second thing is I want to, and in particular, one of the things that I want to figure out how to design, because I think it'll be useful for megabasing later, is basically a way to sort of like tunnel out a little bit, plunk down a little sort of like forward observation base with some walls around it, but with artillery in the middle, that can then be used to clear out a big chunk of the map and keep it clear. So that could be a way to sort of secure land for ourselves, which I think will be pretty important. But the other thing that I want to do, because I think we're going to get to the point where we need to just chew through some research here. If you remember way back, I said that we were designing this base in a way that we could upgrade it to basically double its science production. So if we take a look and you can filter the production graph. So I just hit Control F, and so I can filter to science. If I click a minute, we can see how much is getting built here. And in fact, if we look, there's always going to be one bottleneck science here. So if we take a look at this, we can see that the bottleneck right now, it's the only one that's not backed up, is the black science. So if we pull that up again, science per minute, we can see that black science is in fact going at 45 or so science per minute. So we are going sort of as designed, but it'd be nice to upgrade this to 90 science per minute. So let's talk a little bit about what is going to be necessary to do that. So let's compare two things. Let's get, I'm going to get some of these assembly machine 3s. And then I'm going to get some, let's get some prod modules as well. We can get 50 of those. And then I think we want some beacons too. So let's get 10 beacons. Am I making beacons somewhere? I think I am. Can I see them coming in? Yeah, there's beacons right there. All right, well, those will be brought to me in a minute. Okay, so what I want to compare here is I want to compare the rates of two things. So first off, let's start with gears. And we'll use the rate calculator here. So this can make 90 gears per minute. And this can make 150. Okay, so this is just shy, right? Two times will be 180. So we need to speed this up a little bit. So we can do that by adding some modules here. So we put one speed module in. Whoa! Look at that. All right, so that gets it to 180 degrees. Or not degrees. There we go. However, so that should be enough, right? Turning it to assembly machine 3 plus one speed module. If we did that to all the assemblers, then all the assemblers would basically go double speed. However, for gears are intermediate, which means that where are all the prod modules? And why am I not being brought any? Is a good question. Here's some. Give me some of these. Oh, possibly because I don't have the personal logistics turned on. Well, that would explain it. Okay. So I think we can do a little better, right? So if I put a prod module in, and now we look at the rate, it's just shy, right? So I can put another speed module in, okay, now it's 210. And so if I put, let's see if we got two prod modules. Right. Okay, so two prod modules and two speed modules still gets me, in an assembly machine 3, is still more than twice as fast as the gear here, as the assembly machine 2. So I think that is what we want to do for the ones that we can, for ones that build intermediates. The other kind, like something like pipes, right? Pipes, you cannot use productivity modules for them. Here, let's move this up a little bit. All right, so let's talk pipes. Fine. Okay, so we can't put prod modules in here, right? If I try to do that, it says I can't do it. Okay, so for these, then it's enough to just, this is 90, and this is 180. So it's enough for one speed module for the ones we can't do that for. Okay, so the next question then is, let's look at chemical plants. Okay, so let's look at something like plastic, okay? This can make 120 per minute, so we want to get one that makes 240 per minute. Okay, so one thing we could do is let's put 3 speed modules in. Let's see if we just speed it up. Okay, so this is still short, all right? So we are going to need, and I believe I said this earlier, we're gonna need beacons to make this work. But we actually only need, here, I'm gonna move this over. All right, if I put speed modules in here, now, if I do that, that's still short. Although, I wonder, with what if we did that? Okay, that's short. So let's get that. There, that's what we want. Okay, so we can get 2 productivity modules and 1 speed module as long as we've got 4 beacons with speed modules. Okay, so that's what we need to do to upgrade the assembly machines. Okay, so that's the first deal. And maybe, you know what, I'm gonna leave this, here as a reference. So we can get rid of that guy. Or maybe we'll leave that one there as for reference. Okay. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. A few other things that we're gonna do. We're going to, if we upgrade all the yellow belts to red belts, that will double their throughput. So that's good. So we can just do that. And then the last thing here is we'll need to upgrade the smelting columns then. Okay, and so for a bunch of these, right, since we upgraded them to steel furnaces, we basically have this unused second set of stone furnaces that are not being used. And so we can upgrade those to stone furnaces after we upgrade things to yellow belts. Okay, and then the last thing that we need to do is we need to go, we'll need to go get more resources. If we upgrade these to red belts, we'll need sort of twice the mining to get this all go. So that means we're going to need to get, for iron, we're going to need 4, 8, 12. Okay, so we'll need 12 additional yellow belts of iron. We're going to need 4, 8, 12 of copper. So that was 12 of each, right? 4, 8, 12 of iron. Okay. We're going to need another 4 of coal and another 4 of stone. Okay. So we'll have to go do all that. And then the last thing that we'll need to do is we have several places where we have yellow inserters, and we're going to want to upgrade all of our inserters here to be at least fast inserters. But so I think what we'll do is I think what we'll do is we're going to start with let's get an upgrade planner in here. All right, I'm going to start with the inserters. Okay, so we're going to say if you see a yellow inserter, turn that into you know what? Let's just turn them into stack inserters. Why not? We'll just get them to go all the way north. Okay, so we'll do that. That will upgrade all the inserters, and that's going to take us a little while. So, but what I can do is I can basically drag across the entire base here like this. That is a lot of stack inserters. So let's see, we can just go ahead and extend these out like that to get those turrets, although we don't really need to upgrade the turrets, but let's just do it. Okay, so that's going to start. That's going to have to run for a long time. Right, we can see that there is lots of entities are missing the materials for constructions. So, all right, so that is off and running. That is going to take a while before that all catches up. In the meantime, we'll continue doing our spidertron research. And I think what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just gonna cut the video while those upgrades are going, and I'm going to start working on the outposting that we need to do. That's not going to be that interesting. It's generally going to be clearing out sections of the map, pushing our walls a little further out, etc. So I'm going to do that off camera. You don't need to watch me do that. It's not going to be that interesting. So I will be back, I think, with more of this episode after that all transpires. So, and hopefully in the meantime, some of these upgrades will have finished. All right. So we will see you in a bit. Hey there, everyone. We are back, and let me give you a little update about what has been going on. So I've been busy outposting, and in particular, what I did was cleared out some biters and extended the border walls over here and then down here so that I could tap this stone, this iron, this coal, as well as these two iron patches and an additional oil patch. And actually, I tapped this oil as well, which was already within our boundaries. So that is all going well. And so, you know, we can come over here. We can see that all of the iron ore here, receiving stations at the base are basically, they don't have room for additional stuff. So we are bringing in everything that we need to bring in there. What else has been going on? So we are now fully into the infinite research. The ones that I've been working on are flammable damage. That's for the flamethrowers. Stronger explosives. That is going to be for the spidertron. Which will equip with explosive rockets, so that's cool. And then the laser damage, again for the walls, mining productivity, and robot speed. So I've basically just been working through all that stuff. We've completed all of the non-infinite tech at this point, including spidertron and atomic bombs. So I don't really use atomic bombs, but we did build spidertrons. Now, so I think at this point, outposted enough iron to double what we have at the base. Our upgrade of everything to stack inserters is now done. A couple other things that we did, which are perhaps not, I added the 4th nuclear reactor. And so that lets us get 12 heat exchangers on a side. And so 12 and 12 is 24, because each of these is ordinarily one reactor is 4, remember? But each reactor here is triple efficiency because you have itself plus 2 neighbors in this configuration. So instead of 4, I can do 12, right? Because it's times 3. That happens to be exactly the amount that a single offshore pump can keep up with. So we've got one offshore pump going down each row of heat exchangers. Over here, same deal. Here's the 2 for this side. And then if you think about it, groups of 4. So on each side, since we've got the heat pipes going down the middle, it's really groups of 4 here together. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 groups of heat exchangers times 7 makes for 42 steam turbines that we can support here. So if I go count all these steam turbines, you can see we've got 42. And what I did was I just hopped through the rails over here to get everything built out this side. So that works out okay. And then out on the other side as well. So we can actually just chain everything out this way. And the interesting thing about this particular layout is it is in theory tileable. So we could actually take this whole thing and duplicate it up again. Although we'll have to work around the roboports in order to do that. But we'll see. Right now, power looks good. We're up to 561 megawatts, and we're using about half of it. And we've got most of the mining going. What other checkpoints do we want to do here? Okay, we are still going strong with our single Covarex processing. We now have 1,100 shiny rocks, which is pretty amazing, right? And we still have plenty of dull rocks over here. So we really haven't even mined anything over here on this side. Which is fine. And let's see, actually, as I look, we've got some extra belts, which we can go ahead and pick up. Okay, so that is that. Let's take a look at the mall. So I did start to One of the things I did was I was like, we're not building a stack exchanger, or sorry, stack inserters fast enough. So I duplicated that up. And moved a couple of other things that the perimeter train was using but building slowly here at the base. I moved them off the belt-based things, right? So for example, roboports used to be being built down here, I believe. And so we're not building them there anymore. We moved them into the bot-based mall, which is fine. And more interestingly, we added rocket launchers. We added the productivity modules, and we actually have a spidertron in here, which we may revisit later to go do things. The last thing that we did was I updated the perimeter train, which is over here, and took out, I added a couple things on this side, namely artillery cannons and artillery shells to be put in here. I borrowed some of the spaces that we were using for wood here and turned them into these. And then correspondingly up on the receiving side, we added a couple of things. We also added logistics bots, right? So I moved the large power poles over to this side, added the logistics bots over here, just so we could get just a handful of logistics bots in here, because they're really just needed to feed the ammo, which is unloaded over here, to the artillery wagons. So we can see here we've actually got 6 in here, and that's and we added that here so we can resupply the artillery cans when we want. And then finally we just put this little setup here. Simple artillery cannon fed from a requester chest. The requester chest is just asking for 5. It also holds 5 in it, so each cannon has 10 in it. And at this point, if we turn on the turrets, we've actually cleared everything out around the outside of the walls. So we have this going everywhere that we have these perimeter walls going. There's artillery cannons kind of in the corners here, and sometimes in the middle, just to keep the walls clear. Because at this point, the only thing that might show up, and we are getting constant attacks, right? Like if we look at pollution's definitely outside the walls. We're polluting bases. So the main thing we want to do is make sure if an expansion shows up in here that we can clear it out with the artillery. And so that is the idea there. And in fact, at this point, the base can actually run pretty unattended for quite a while. So that is that's exciting, which means we can kind of do lights out operations at this point. So in particular, last night I just queued up a bunch of infinite research and let it run all night. I did save before I did that, just in case, but it came back and basically nothing had happened, and the base kept itself clear. So at this point, the next thing that I want to do is I want to update our upgrader. We can leave these in here, but it's time to upgrade belts. So we're going to go to red belts everywhere. So we're going to upgrade all the belts like this. Okay, that will upgrade our belts. Good. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did before, right? We're going to grab all of this over here and just upgrade the entire base, like so. So 13,000 red belts. That is exciting. But we know that the base will just chew along and get that stuff done for us. So we'll go ahead and kick that off. I think the next thing that we're going to do is just make sure that we have the copper that we need for this sort of red belt upgrade. And so I'm going to go off camera. I'm probably going to tap this copper patch and this copper patch. We'll see if that's enough. If it's not, then it looks like it would not be too hard to extend our extend ourselves up here. So I'm gonna go tap these. If I end up doing this, I think what I will do is I'm gonna take the spidertron out for a spin. So we'll come back before we do that. But yeah, we're moving along. We're getting closer. Definitely chewing away on the infinite tech, so that's good. The base is in lights out operations, so we can just continue chewing along here, and we'll be back. We'll be back when there's something interesting to go on. And in the meantime, stay tuned through the video break. Okay. Okay, we are back. I did indeed. We have now gone and tapped this little patch of copper. That got us like 4.5 yellow belts worth. And then we tapped this one here, which got like another 6, which leaves us a little short. So I think we are going to need an additional copper patch. Potentially one of these two here. And so I think what I want to do is I want to go, let's take the spidertron out for a ride and take a look around here, because we may be able to clear a bunch of this stuff and build sort of a next perimeter wall off this, but I kind of want to see what it looks like up here. So now for some fun times. Okay, spidertron, baby. All right, let's get ourselves a spidertron. Let's stick it here. Let's go color-wise. Let's make it a nice angry red for our BattleBot. All right, we're gonna optimize this thing for kicking butt. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to, let's see, we need to get the stuff for this. Okay, so I think what we want to do is let's turn off. No, these are all okay. Okay, so for the spidertron's equipment, we're going to want 4 rocket launchers. So let's get 4 rocket launchers. I think we're going to want 1 fusion reactor. Where are you? Fusion reactor. 1, please. We're going to want, I think we can do 3 legs. I think we're going to want, let's get, oh, where is the batteries? Let's get 4 batteries. And let's get, do we have the shields? Let's get some shields. Let's start with getting 4. All right, so let's get all this stuff in, and we can load it into the spidertron and see where we're at on the equipment grid. Okay, turn that off. Okay, let's look at you. Here's your equipment grid. So let's give you a fusion reactor. Let's give you some batteries. You can begin charging that business. Let's see, let's get our 3 legs. And then we will get 3 shields. So that's all good. We need 1 more rocket launcher here. Which, let's see, where are we building those? Here they are. All right, I can get 1 here. Fine, give me those. All right, and then we can get the rocket launchers in there. Oh, that's ammo. Oh, I don't actually need to build the rocket launchers. Okay. Right, I thought I had to equip them. Okay. Logistics. I think for right now, let's just get some explosive rockets. Hooray. Let's get 2,000 of these. Okay, that should bring all the rockets into the trunk. And then I actually want to adjust my personal equipment here. So I think because we'll be riding in the spidertron, we can swap out some of our own equipment Okay, let's swap out some of our own equipment. So let's take these guys out. We don't need the shields because we have the spidertron shields. We can get rid of these because the spidertron will do the running for us. And then let's see if we can put those in. Okay. And maybe, do we have room for one more? We'll leave the night vision in. Sure. It's good for the video. Okay, so let's see here. Let's do some quick. So max consumption of these, right, is 240 kilowatts. And we've got 12. So if all of those are blazing away, oh, sorry. Bring that back. Storage. Okay, we have 100 megajoules times 8. So that is 800 megajoules. Okay, so let's do some calculation here. How long will these last full firing? So calculator. 800 megajoules divided by 240 kilowatts divided by 12. So that is 277 seconds worth of firing. So that is almost 5 minutes of laser work. And so that actually seems pretty good. So the idea is that, let's hop in this guy. Okay, so we're loaded up with rockets. So that'll be the main way that we're going to kill biter stuff. We'll rely on the spidertron for defense. So it's got its own armor plus all of these. Spidertron will do the running, and then we've got a way to sort of fire this up for the draining of the power as we go. So we are going to, in just a moment, go ahead and take this thing for a spin. So just a second. All right, sorry, we had a problem with a dog needing to be let in and outside. So, all right, let's go get some biters up here. So, so let's see. We want to go up that way. So one of the you know what? Before we go too far, I did get a spidertron remote. I built one of those, which is like super convenient way to do this stuff. So, let's clear this stuff out of our hotbar. Let's go pick up the spidertron remote, which I think are next to the spidertrons, if I remember right. Here's a spidertron remote. Okay. Where did that guy go? Here it is. Okay. Now, I always forget the key bindings here. So, left click on... All right, when I have this, I left click on the spidertron, and that should make me red. Okay, good. Okay, so now I believe we can go look on the map, and we can left click ourselves over there, and we will make our way up there. Okay, cool. All right, spidertron remote working. I love the fact that we can just climb over everything as we go here. All right, let's see how this works. The spidertron itself doesn't have roboports, but we have our own robots with us, so we can use that to we can hop out and turn on our robots, and then that will help us repair the spidertron. All right, let's give this a shot. Let's go. We are not doing this right because we're not auto-targeting. With gunning. There we go. That's what we want. We want some rockets. That's what I'm talking about. Nice. Okay, that worked exceedingly well. Okay, let's go chomp on some more biters. All right, this is what I'm talking about. We can basically just like walk right through this business. Oh, this does connect over here. Okay, I guess we'll have to clear this stuff too. I thought this was more of an island, but it's actually a peninsula. All right. I can wait for the shields to come back. All right, what's up here? Okay. Where are we at? Okay, we are going to want to sweep this stuff down here, and I want to explore a little further north. All right, let's go a little further north, and let's see what waits for us up here along the coast. I want to see if there's a nice little sort of like bottleneck. All right, so this starts to go back out again. So let's see what's over this way. We can clear these guys out. Okay. All right, let's continue going across over here. Okay, that looked pretty good. All right, it looks like here is the closest sort of neck. Okay, so if we want to build a wall, we could kind of build one across here, and that's going to be about the narrowest path, and then we can build one here as well. I think if I'm going to do that, I'm going to take out those guys too. So let's go do that. Oh, how are we on trunk? Oh, we still have plenty of rockets. Plenty of rockets, he said. All right, let's get rid of these guys. Hi, guys. Ooh, love just being able to walk through those guys or around them. Okay. This is way faster and less error prone than the tank, for sure. All right. It does look like we missed something over here. I see a little red dot on the mini-map. What's over here? Oh, those guys are there. How about down here? Oh, okay. That was left over. Oh, it's oil. I see. All right. Looks like we go straight across. Main thing with the spidertron is not to get stuck. Not to get too. We want to kind of run around the outside so we don't get slowed down too much by the spit. All right, this is. I will tell you, this is efficient. This is a big one. Let's see how we do here. Looking in on the outside. All right. Effective is what that was. All right, let's just clear a little bit around this neck over here. guess we'll get these guys as the last one. Okay. Yeah, that was effective. Okay, I think we are going to take, let's see, let's get back to the base. It looks like, by the way, our red belt upgrade finished. And so we can go park the spidertron and kick off a little more upgrading. And then I think off camera we'll go put in some new perimeter walls. Thank you. You're gonna repair me. We'll put in some new perimeter walls, set up with our perimeter train, and including artillery, and then we will go ahead and we'll tap the copper while we're working our way up for continuing to process stuff. So, okay, here we are back at the base. Let's come across here. Let's just park in the middle. All right, let's hop out. Okay, oh, now I want my legs back. Okay, all right. And then I want my... Okay. That will do. All right, now I can run appropriately. Okay, so we just upgraded everything to red belts. That is exciting. Let's just make sure we are, in fact, still sciencing up here. We are indeed. So that's good. Okay, next we need to do the smelting. So I think let's update our upgrader dude. And so we're going to say, everywhere you have a stone furnace, give me a steel furnace. All right, let's get our map here, and we're going to say, upgrade all of these stone furnaces across here. Okay, and so that will, in most cases, that gets us a bunch of what we want. It does not, however, finish us here. Okay, so we need to make markers here for the ones we need to upgrade before too much stuff gets upgraded. I want a constant combinator. Where is that? Here's one. All right, so we need to do this one and this one. We need to do this one. We need to do this one. I already did. We doubled this. I already doubled this one. It was at 6, but I needed enough of the stone for all of the railroady stuff. Okay, so these are being done up here, so that's good. We need to do something. Oh, this is also being done. Okay, this is being done. We need to do this one. Looks like we mostly need to do the half ones. And we need to do this one. Okay, so I think that means that, let's see. You are gonna wanna go up to here. Then let's get all of this and duplicate it up. Okay, that takes care of that one. These are all fine. You will get upgraded as soon as you can. Okay, pick you up. Put that stuff in there. You're being upgraded. That's all fine. Okay, this one we need to do. This one's, oh no, we already said, we already did that one. That's fine. This one we need to do. Okay. These are okay. And then we need to do this one. And we need to do this one. Okay. Any other half lanes? Nope, this one's already being upgraded. And that's it. Okay, so that upgrades all the smelting. And we have quite a bit of stone furnace production to do. I think, you know, my experience is that it is actually better to move this out to the bot mall when we're bottlenecked on this. So, so let's just go set one of those up real quick. Okay. You are going to filter 2 steel furnaces. You are going to be limited to steel furnaces. Steel furnaces 50, fine. Okay, you need the stuff for steel furnaces. You're going to make steel furnaces. Copy the recipe. All right, you're summoning stuff. You'll make the steel furnaces, and then we can remove them from our original mall down here. And then that will not starve out the red, green, and black science. So we can just get rid of these guys like that. Okay. Nice. Okay, we've kicked up that next upgrade. So I think what we're going to do off camera, we're going to go off camera one more time. We're going to build ourselves some walls up here. Tap the last copper that we need, and then we will come back to kick off the next upgrade. All right, talk to you shortly. Okay, we are back, and we have put in place a new wall up here. We extended our way through the gates. I will note that the prior blueprint I had this gate off by 1, so I had to manually adjust that. I'll have to come back around and fix that blueprint at some point, but we ended up summoning the spidertron just because I needed to push these guys back a little further in order to get the wall in. But one of the other things I wanted to show off was that I also, at the same time that we added artillery stuff, I also built an artillery train, which we probably saw at some point. You may have seen it, but I didn't actually talk about it. Here I've got, just requests for the artillery shells. We're all topped up here. The interesting thing about the artillery wagons is they hold a lot of ammo, so 100 shells each. So that's even more than you can carry with a regular cargo wagon, which can only hold 48. So this is more than twice the carrying capacity, and it can also shoot. So one of the nice things about having a train like this is you can decide to use it for ad hoc shooting, but you can also use it as an artillery shell delivery device. What I want to do here is I want to bring it in here and then park it to see if we can, how much of this we can clear out just sort of ad hoc by ourselves with the artillery train. We can park it. We've got a lot of shells. We can probably clear a bunch of this stuff. Maybe we can get some of these larger things here before we go put in the sort of static artillery defenses, which are a little slower They'll still work, but it's a little slower. So, but I figured, you know, let's show off the artillery train here. All right, here it comes. Now, the trick with the artillery train is you have to put it in manual mode for it to fire, I believe. So here we go. We can zoom out and we can really see it in the map here. Okay, so we are going to get to clear a big chunk of this stuff, which is great. Maybe a little bit of this. So we can do a very quick cleanup of this area here, which is fantastic. That'll limit the number of sort of revenge attacks we will see from clearing this stuff out. So the thing with artillery, if you haven't seen it before, it causes, like, yeah, the biters get mad when you blow up their stuff. Whoa, something exploded there. Wow, we did a lot of damage. This is interesting. Oh, I know what it is. The spidertron is freaking blowing up the walls. Hello. Let's back you up a little bit. Whoa, I don't... Oh my gosh. This is bad news. Alright, we are going to have to defend this stuff with the spidertron right now. I don't have the repair bots in here yet. Although I suppose I could do that real quick. I can put the repair bots in here. So let's give you bots, and where's my repair packs? Repair packs. All right, you can start repairing stuff. I can go plunk some walls in the right spot down here. Where are the walls at? Walls go here. You can have all my walls. You can have all my gates. All right. All right, we'll see if that is enough to repair what we have here. We can fill in the rest, I guess. Let's see if this all gets filled in here. All right, looks like we survived the attack. So, oh my gosh, that was crazy. All right, why don't you go back? You go back home. I think now we are actually ready. So I had the perimeter train here, set in manual mode, and we can have it start delivering stuff here. And in particular, it should be possible now to come down here, grab one of our artillery dudes. Here it is. Grab that. Let's see, where do we want to stick this? I guess we're going to need one in the middle here. Maybe up by that. Okay. Probably one would span this whole thing, but we can just get two in here. Maybe another one over at this area. Okay. I believe we will now start installing that stuff, and including logistics bots, right? We should have logistics bots in here. Yep, we got 12 logistics bots in there. And yeah, we should be all stocked up here. Okay, this is exciting. What I think we're going to do is... and yeah, the static ones are beginning to fire already. So they'll mop up the rest of this stuff. And now that we've got sort of robot repairs and resupply, we should be in good shape, especially without the spidertron shooting the walls down with rockets. Seems like a good deal. Okay, so let's, I think, take a trip back to the main base because... well, you know what? I'm going to go off camera just for a second. I'm going to tap this, one of these copper patches that we just got, and then I will be back. All right, we are back, and let's see. We have now, we've got ourselves the static defenses built out here on the wall. With these guys, that's going to slowly be supplied by our perimeter train. As we clear out the rest of this area, push the biters back a bit. I've not actually been upgrading the artillery range because I don't think we need it for our goals here. So what we're going to do next is, let's see. I also went and tapped this big ol' copper patch, which is exciting. And so that will definitely help us here. We're getting a full 4 red belts here, so that's actually 8 yellow belts. So this will run for a while, and that takes us well above what we needed for doubling our resource patches, which means that it's time for the next phase of upgrade, which is that we're going to upgrade all of the assembly machine 2s to assembly machine 3s. And we are going to do it. All right, so let's see. We need to cover, including the stuff for the nuclear power, and I think everything is in there. All right, so we are gonna upgrade those, and let's see. Now the next thing that we can do is we can start. If you remember, let's see, where's our reference thing? We can start beaconizing our chem plants. And so let's turn this off. Here's our reference. Okay, so we know we need these guys here. So actually I'm gonna make a copy of this. And let's come over and we're gonna start with our oil patches over here. Okay, so we conveniently left ourselves room right in here. And this is going to take a while for this to all fill in here. We are going to move this stuff like this and this. We can just put these all up here. We can move you over here and over here. And extend you the rest of the way north. If I go up there, yeah, you can still hit there. All right, so we'll need those to get filled in. That gets these guys and these guys. Then we're going to need some amount of this for in between these guys here. Which it looks like we are off by 1, which is a crying shame. That is a crying shame. And these don't fit in here. This whole row is off by 1, which means that bots are going to do some work, is what that means. You are going to move all your stuff over here. And that means moving you over. And it means moving you over. And moving you over. And moving you guys over. So then you do not need that. Wow, that was quick. But now we're getting water in both of these things, and we should not. So that should bring you in. All right, let's see. If I delete this row of pipes here, and then undo, they should come back and be filled with... Ugh. Let's try it one more time. All right. Okay. Oh, that's why. No, why are you getting water in? Why do you have water? You should have... Alright, we're gonna try this one more time. I'm a little confused. We have some like mixing of stuff going on here. We're gonna delete you. We're going to copy you. Alright, now you've got... And I guess we'll paste these in. Okay. We had like mixing fluids in pipes, I think, was our problem. But we have straightened it out. All right, there we go. Now it seems like we need some power help. All right, that should fix power for those beacons. Let's get a copy of this stuff. Let's see. We need to get rid of these mines here. And we need to copy maybe about this much stuff. Let's stick it in the middle here. Think like that. You can reach there, but you can't reach, so we'll get rid of you. Okay. Alright, all of these will power all of these beacons. Alright, all those beacons will be powered, I believe. Okay, and then we need to, let's take a reference of our chem plant upgrade. Where did that go? Here it is. Okay, so 2 prods and a speed. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get a speed. And then we get our prod modules. All right. 1 speed. 2 prod modules. Oh, I didn't get anything for these guys. That's because I put these on the wrong side. I need you to actually go there. Can you reach this stuff? Alright, we'll get this stuff in here. And then for the rest of it, we can get substations. I guess like this. I'm not going to worry about this. We're not actually getting the extra here anyway. So that's okay. Let's get 1 speed. 2 prod. 1 speed. Prod. And gas. It's fine. This is really just an outlet for extra. Alright, so I'm not going to worry about those. All right, the bots are going to catch up with that eventually. All right, so I'm going to go, and then the other thing that we said we were going to do is, here's one. Let's take a look at our reference here. Where'd that reference go? Here's our reference. So for these, we can get 2 prod, 2 speed. If we have intermediaries, and so that's like this one. 2 prod, 2 speed, 2 prods. And okay, so I am gonna go around. I guess we'll wait to do, we can get the beacons in place, but we'll wait until all of the assembly machines have been upgraded to go do their modules. So I'm gonna do all that stuff off camera and we will be back. Hey there everyone, we are back. All of our upgrades of assembly machine 3s have finished, which is exciting. And as a result, we are now using a lot more power. So take a look at this. You know, we're now pushing 480 megawatts, and we used to have about 600 or so max. So we've just expanded our nuclear power plant, and I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and update the modules and all the assembly machines so that we can realize the rest of our upgrades. So let's just talk about a little bit about what we're going to be doing here. Let's come up here. So I think what we're going to be doing is, as we discussed, for items that are intermediates, we're going to do 2 speed and 2 productivity modules. And then for things that are, let's see, where's our reference? Otherwise, we're just putting 1 speed module in. If it is not otherwise an intermediate product, but is needed for science. And then lastly, if there are things that are being built in the mall, I'm going to go ahead and sort of max out the speed on them. Just that will help us out with sort of mall building. And so, for example, I believe what I'll do is for things like the red inserters, we'll just go ahead and max out the speed on those. Okay, so I am going to go do that across the whole base. You do not need to watch me do that. I believe that even if I copy this, I can't paste it. So I either have to tear these down and copy and paste them, but it's, to be honest, I'll probably just go around and do them by hand at this point. So anyway, we will take care of that and then we'll be back. Okay, we are back. We have gone ahead and put modules in all of the assemblers. And so everything that's intermediate now has 2 speed modules, 2 productivity modules. Everything that can't be an intermediate has at least 1 speed module in it. And if we take a look at, if we take a look at our production graph here, look over the minute, filter on science. What we can see is we are now consuming a good 100 science per minute. So that is actually more than double what we originally set out with our 45 science per minute. And that actually makes sense if you think about what we did here, right? We actually get, in addition to speeding up by more than 2, or let's see, we sped up by a factor of 2, but we also get this plus 10% or plus 8% productivity bonus. So in addition to going from 45 to 90, we're actually also getting, you know, some extra science production for free generally. So if we go take a look at what we're doing up here on the labs, you can see a lot more of the labs are now busy. We are cranking away on those things. Power-wise, it's a good thing we went and upped the power. I think I'll go probably round things off down here to 8 nuclear reactors. We'll finish out the next pair, I think, but we'll do that off camera. And that is it. That is the big upgrade. So it was a lot of work, but we are now cruising through the science. I do not believe we are going to do any more. This is now, from a Basecamp perspective, we are now at the max science per minute that I want to get out of the Basecamp. And in this case, it was because we could get it because it was a pretty easy upgrade from what we had. We're just upgrading assemblers, dropping modules in, a few beacons, but we're not really redesigning any builds. If we were going to go any further than this, we'd have to do a lot of redesigning, and that's really where the Megabase comes in at that point. So that is going to be our top science per minute for right now. We are not quite done. There's a couple of other builds that I want to do that we're going to need for doing megabasing. In particular, I think the main things there are going to be making sure we have a build for solar panels and making sure we have a build for beacons and modules, which we will go ahead and do. But otherwise, we've got all of the research done that we want to do. We're now just cruising through the infinite research at this point. That just gives us a leg up when we start the Megabase from here. And we'll leave a lot of that stuff as a problem for future Mystic Fish. So at this point, we're in good shape. The base runs itself autonomously. It can protect itself autonomously. We're continuing to cruise through the mining productivity, which at this point is up to plus 60 already. So we are in good shape as far as retaining our production. One of the things that I have done is I've tapped a couple of extra oil patches. So now we are actually good, pumping more than we are consuming, which we like to see. I'm sure a lot of that is the result of a lot of the upstream productivity bonuses that we're getting from some of these assemblers. So that is going to be our episode. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And until then, bye.